Welcome back to the Dry Fire Journal. This is day 196. And here's the thing. Yesterday, I was teaching a class in a different part of the state. And before the class began, I ran a drill with two of my instructors. In fact, it was yesterday's video. You can go back and watch it. And I had no idea that my Romeo 1 red dot was not functioning. My red dot was floating around in the window, and I had no idea. So here's the lesson I learned. I need, and you need, and we need on a more regular basis to check our gear. So I'm wondering what your thoughts are on what a good checklist is for checking your gear out. And because I'm going to be dry firing every day, might as well do it. So here's what I know. I'm going to be running this P30L now. I had committed to running the 226 as my spouse gun for a while, but it's got a unique footprint on the dot. And with the Romeo 1 dot out of commission, and I already own this with the 507C, which is not my favorite, but it'll work. I'm going to run this for a while for budget reasons. So when I think through this firearm and making it ready, I always start with this. I personally don't carry a handgun without a weapon light on it. Your mileage may vary. But the first thing I do is I make sure that this one single paddle for the weapon light selector switch is on and it is affixed really well and not coming loose. So I want to make sure that this works. I like to make sure that this one on my right side is off, so that I am not tempted to use my index finger for anything other than index or trigger. So that means I take off my paddle so that my light is only accessed by my support side. And I know that requires some mental gymnastics, but that's what I do. But I start with my light, and then I want to make sure that my dot battery is strong and that it is set the way I want it to be. And I'm going to now hold this for about the count of 10 and make sure that my red dot isn't floating. I have never, ever once in my whole life checked to see if my red dot was floating until yesterday, because it was. So learn from my error and think about holding this for a count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm also checking to see if it is fritzing in and out or blooming or anything that might suggest a battery issue. Then I am going to rock the slide back. I have my barrel block in because I'm doing some dry fire work. But I want to make sure my feed ramp is in decent shape. I am not a huge stickler of cleaning guns. I hate cleaning guns. It's not what I do. And I'm not a prolific shooter. I probably run through about 1,500 rounds a month. I clean my guns maybe like once a year, maybe. But I make sure the feed ramp is clean and clear. And then I do make sure that it is lubed. Beyond that, I want to test and make sure that my trigger is functioning. I have had issues with triggers in the past because I do run my guns fairly regularly. So I want to make sure that my trigger is resetting. I want to make sure that my single action is working, that my double action is working. I want to make sure that all the things are working. And then when I would load up, I would grab my carry magazine, make sure my ammo is good and all that. I'm wondering what else you think needs to go in here. Are we checking our front sight? Are we checking our red dot mounts? Are we doing anything else that we need to check whenever we dry fire, since we already have the gun out? So let me know what your thoughts are, and this is super important because I experienced yesterday the effects of not checking my 226 often enough. I would clear it, I would dry fire it, and then I would reload it and walk out the door. And I'm not sure that I was checking enough stuff on it. So this is going to be my new daily driver and dry fire gun for the foreseeable future until I'm able to purchase a new red dot for the 226 or make another decision. So yeah, tomorrow I will see you, and we're going to do a really fun drill that works on your trigger and helps you learn how to do this more gooder. Let me know your thoughts on a checklist. I'll see you tomorrow.